Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this computer technology world. Today, as I said, that we are starting the introduction to computers. So today I'm introducing computer systems. We need to know what a computer is, but also what made up a computer. At this time around, without wasting time, let's look into these systems. My name is Richard Strand Granger Mtambo. Yeah, I'll be taking you into several lectures into this computer system world. So let's go to the next slide. So the main objective of this chapter 1, we'll be looking at identifying the various parts of the computer system and what each does. At the same time, we're going to also identify various operating systems, identify major software applications, packages, and what they do. Know how to use common features of Windows and the desktop. Know how to organize files and folders using Windows Explorer. We are also going to look at how you can be familiar with features common to Windows software, have working knowledge of Microsoft Office software, use computers in business, workplace, and other fields. It also explains why information systems are so important today and how they are transforming organizations and management. Identify appropriate goals and objectives for organizations. Use various positioning frameworks to analyze an organization's information systems. Also produce device and information system plan strategy for organizations. So these are the main objectives of this topic or on this unit. So let's go to the next slide. So let's look at the definition of a computer. We need to know what a computer is. So a computer, in short, by definition, is a electronic device that inputs data, process data, converting into information, but is useful to people, outputs and stores information. So in short, computer is an electronic device that accepts data as input and process that data and produce an output in form of information. So meaning that it converts raw facts and produce a meaningful information. So that's the definition of computer, the word a computer. So computer processes data in form of input and produce an output in form of information. So information is said to be a meaningful facts from the data that is processed. So computers are controlled by programmed instructions. Programmed instructions, these programmed instructions, we call them softwares. A software is said to be a programmed instruction that governs or that give or that guide the computer what to do. So these instructions that transform the data into meaningful information. So we talk of that software part. We'll also look at it as we'll be looking into other categories. Generally, a computer is a device that accepts input, processes, and then stores data and produces an output. So that's what a computer does. It processes the data and produces the information. All right, let's go to the next slide. So let's look at IPC, Information Processing Cycle. So let's look at the steps followed to process data. Firstly, you need to have input, processing, output, storage. So what do I mean? When we are on the first stage, input, here their data is collected as raw facts. Remember, data on its own cannot make sense. It must be processed first for it to put into what meaningful ideas. For example, how can you process the data? Stage number 2 is processing. So processing involves computers where the processor does all the processing and produces an output through the monitor. So the data is being punched on the monitor by the user as raw facts. Then the processing stuff is done by the processor, which is the CPU, and all the manipulations done there. After that, is being projected as an output. An output is the final information, final result. So then the data is also kept in what we call storage devices. The data must be kept where? Safe for future use. So we process data for a purpose, for a reason. We process data for us to use it in future or for future uh, operations. That's why the data is processed, then stored into storage devices. In storage devices, we've got so many storage devices there. We're going also to look down there. So allow me to go to the next slide. Now we have looked at input devices. So what is an input? An input is information provided to the computer by a person. So this we can also say data, information provided to the computer by a person. For example, you're punching some instructions through the keyboard or the mouse into the computer system. Such kind of data, such kind of information is said to be data. So an input is information provided to the computer by a person, the environment, or another computer. Examples of input, we have got words and symbols, numbers, pictures, audio signals from a microphone, signals from another computer, temperature, speed, pressures, etc. from sensors. So that's an input. So we are defining data there as the step number 1 as input. So data is made up of, or examples of input, we have got those items which have been highlighted there. So let's look at this step, processing. Processing is like manipulation of data, altering data, changing or modifying data so that it can come out to a proper thing, to a real thing. So data are symbols that represent raw facts, objects, and ideas about people, places, events, and things that are of importance in an organization. So in short, a data on its own cannot make sense. So the data must be processed to produce what we call meaningful data, which is information. Thereby, the processing takes place. So that is the processing. So the word processing involves manipulating of data or raw facts or figures, objects, pictures, etc., etc., to make it a complete thing, which is an output. Now, this time around, let's look at the computer program. Computer program. So a computer program or a software is a series of instructions that tell a computer how to carry out a processing tasks. So a program is made from programming and by programmers through the use of programming languages. So is a program or is a software or the tool that is used to feed instructions or to accept or to command or to instruct the computer what to do and how they can perform different activities in the computer. So in short, a program uh, commands the user or instructs the user what to do, at the same time instructs the hardware what to do. So we have got categories of softwares. We're going to look at them as we'll be starting the next chapter. So examples of processing, we have got arithmetic calculations. In arithmetic calculations, this deals with the mathematical calculations, whether logical or uh, arithmetic areas. So arithmetic calculations deal with additions, subtractions, multiplication, several items, all things that deals with mathematical operations or calculations. That's under processing, arithmetic. So sorting a list, modifying pictures, drawing graphs. So as you can see, processing is like you are building up something, you are punching, you are modifying, you're manipulating the data. So let's go to the next slide. The final thing now as an output. So an output, the result produced by a computer after processing the data, as I said earlier on. So an output is also called an information or information, a meaningful facts, a meaningful data, an output. So we have got output devices or output device. So this one displays, prints, transmits the results after processing, right? So it displays results, output device. For example, a monitor, you are feeding something on the computer into the CPU. So for processing, it's being displayed on the screen, which is an output. So these are devices which displays information that is being processed or that displays outputting information. For example, you are doing simple calculations from maybe Excel. You want to display it, the calculations. You are punching the formulas. You want to receive the calculations displays right there on the screen. So these are devices that displays or prints or transmit the results after processing. For example, of device that can print output or information of printers, etc., etc. Examples of output. We have got images on a monitor, right? Images on a monitor, printed documents, right? Sounds, signals to device controllers. So, for example, you record, for example, maybe the speaker, you project the sound from the speaker, get the sound from maybe the computer or the laptop or anything, so that you can magnify the sound. You can make the sound to be bigger. The sound that will be produced is said to be an output. You can play a song on a computer, then it comes out from from the speaker. So the speaker is said to be an output device which produces what sound. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. We have got memory and storage. Memory and storage. Memory and storage. So we'll just talk more about memory first, and then we'll come to storage. The word memory, something that remembers something, or something that can store something for a short period of time. So what is memory? What is involved in memory, or what is memory? So memory is the area of a computer that temporarily holds data that is being processed or waiting to be processed, stored, or output. So This memory stores data temporarily. For example, we've got memories like random access memory, which can just store data temporarily while the computer is running, waiting for the processor to process them so that it can be produced in form of what? Output. So we'll look into these examples of memories. As of now, let's go to storage. What is storage? The word storage is like storing something, preserving something for future. So the area where data can be left on a permanent basis while it is not needed for processing. For example, you keep data for the future use. You keep the information, processed information for the future use. That maybe will be required for processing later, or maybe it won't be processed, something like that. In short, it keeps data or information permanently, unless you delete them, unless you delete that information. But if it remains there, it will be there for good. So examples of storage, we have got these categories. In these categories, we've got so many examples. But as of now, let's just look at these categories. We've got magnetic disks. We've got compact disk, read-only memory or CD-ROM. We have got magnetic tapes, flash disk, memory card, flop disk. So these are some of the examples. I think these are not new to you. These examples of storage devices. On our way to the next slide. So let's look at personal and home uses of computers. Personal and the home uses of computers. Computers allow people with disabilities to do normal activities. How can they perform these activities? By shopping online, playing games with other people, working from home, entertainment such as listening to music, watching videos, cartoons, etc., etc. Enable communication through the use of electronic mails or emails, chats, etc., etc. So as you can see, we are using phones, using computers, any sort of technology that we're using now. These are computers. We have got types of computers. As we'll be learning, we'll look into those categories. So that's how we talk of personal and home uses of what? Computers. At home, how can you use computers? You can use computers for communication, for entertainment, and for other things. Writing simple budgets, and so many areas. So let's talk on how computers are used in business. Business uses of what? Computer. So computers allow companies to keep large amount of information at hand. For example, the use of databases. Okay, so today we have been looking at several items. So business uses of computers. Business uses of computers. So computers allow companies to keep large amount of information at hand. So the companies uses databases, which makes ordering and tracking resources quick and easier. Allow people to have meetings from different locations. So that's how computers are used in businesses or in business. The uses of computers. So one is to keep information, ordering and tracking resources easier and quickly. Allow people to have meetings. You can communicate and conduct meetings within the business localities or organizations. So for today, we're going to end here. Next time, we'll proceed to the next lesson. God bless you.